All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And the first thing I'd like to do is for a few of the new people. I am Aaron Singleton, and I founded the Energy of Life Healing Process back in 1994. So it's been around, it's been taught quite a bit, just never taught, let's say, potentially globally with the way we have it now on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and everything else. So, and this year, I decided that it wasn't going to be taught in the same classroom way, but actually that this first part be shared with everyone because we need a lot more people doing self-healing and learning how to use the process to help others as well.
Mhm.
And and to help your pets. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'd like to start today with just if there's anyone that has any quick comment about the first EOL in December and the second one in February, where they've had some results, excuse me, that you like to share, kind of encouragement for others. That would really be appreciated. So something quick if you have it.
Yes, this is Suzanne. I've had I had a hip operation and then I had to have a redo because there was a problem. But I use the energy of life, and pretty much like I would use it anytime during the day. Whenever I felt that I needed to use it, I would use it. It always felt great, and I specifically asked that it would take out anything from the surgery, and I know it did that. I could feel it leaving out through my feet, and it's really helped my recovery. I'm doing great. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Great. So it'll take out the anesthesia and any other chemicals,
Yep,
as well as the trauma and the shock to the body from the procedure.
it took it all out. It definitely did.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, doesn't seem like anyone else is going to speak up, so we're going to go ahead and get started with tonight's using the EOL process to balance and align and everything, your chakras. And first, I just want to share a little information with you. Everyone's, let's say, knowledge of the chakras, depending on whether you're talking that you got that information intuitively or from a book or from a class, whether it came from India, uh, sometimes information can vary. Now, what I like to do is look at what Edgar Cayce said. Edgar Cayce believed in 8 chakras being the primary chakras, not 7. And if you go back in time, ancient Sanskrit, it also talks about 8 sometimes. It's kind of like something might have gotten lost down through the years. So if we think of it from Cayce, and for those of you that don't know, Edgar Cayce was, the greatest medical intuitive ever, as far as the books have it right now. And so if you think of a shepherd's staff and you think of how it crooked over, well, the shepherd used that staff to reach down in the muck and pull out sheep that got stuck in mud and things, so it would hook around them. All right, now if you think of that with the chakras coming up, but kind of like with a crook, like the staff that comes around to your third eye. So it would come up through your 6th, circle around and come into the 7th, the third eye. But then we also go to the back of the head, and there are some that say that we have an 8th chakra there before we go into 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way up to the 20th chakra above the head. Now, it really doesn't matter that much as far as whether we want to talk about 7 chakras or 8 chakras, or whether they just go straight up and, you know, uh, as long as we can align them, as long as we can intuitively see, sense, feel, whatever, and bring them into alignment, into proper spin and size. Um, Now, when it comes to those things, our chakras are constantly changing in size based on what's going on in our lives. So if we're going through a particular emotionally stressful period, our chakras may be quite a bit smaller. We're going through happy, joyous times, and our chakras will expand, and that's what we will see. Now, so we have the size, but then we have the spin. Now, chakras spin in both directions. This is what I have gotten intuitively, that if they spin 20 times clockwise, they reverse and spin 20 times counterclockwise. You can verify this when you are tuning in using the EOL process. All right. And when we are working with the chakras, we don't necessarily want to start at the first chakra and work our way up, because on any given day, we need to start somewhere else. And the EOL process will guide you the order that you need to open the chakras, rather than just always starting, oh, I'm going to open my root and second and solar plex and heart. Well, based on what's going on in your life at that moment, that may not be the ideal way. And so we will all share in with that, because what I like to do is have all of you tune into your own chakras and see what order you need to open them in, and looking at, you know, the size that they might be. So even the colors, we have basic indicators in books that tell you that, you know, your root chakra is red, and you work your way on up through the chakras. Now, chakras change colors, again, based on what's going on in your life. So don't always expect your root chakra to be red, or your heart chakra to be purple, or any chakra to be green or yellow constantly, because as they are spinning and the energy is changing and they're pulsing, they change colors, the full rainbow of colors. And I think that's one of the fascinating things, that when you are able to sense some of that yourself, and gives you a new perspective on exactly what is going on. So beyond the books, because I have looked at 3 different books and found that there were different things about the chakras, there were different things about the colors, there were different things about frequencies. So one book says something is this frequency, and another one says another frequency, and another. So it's a lot about the perspective of the person who's writing the book. So what their, let's say, their guides, their intuition, however they get their information, it's not always, you know, going back to, well, it's not science. And even if science was to look at it, they probably get this part wrong, because if they're looking for a single color rotation in only one direction, a certain size, it's all going to change. Now, when we have done expos in the past, and we gave people shirts to put on, some of the Energy of Life shirts that we have, the biomorphic geometry, and they get their picture done, and showing the size of their chakras. You know, they go over to the person that does that, and they get it done. They come back, they put a shirt on, they go back and they get it done, and everything has changed. So the energy being emitted into their body, balancing them when using, let's say, the Healthy, Happy, Healed t-shirt, is totally changing their spin of their chakras, their size, everything. We've done the same thing with essential oils. So we have a chakra activator oil. shock ease to get shock and trauma out of the body. Let's say something else like love and compassion oil. And then all of the sizes, the colors, everything changes. So just want that to be something that you remember and be flexible. Don't be rigid about what you have read, classes you have taken, or even what I'm saying. But I'm going to say be flexible because things change as we change. All right. So I'd like everyone to turn your palms up, get the energy of life flowing through you. Now, I do mine every morning before I get out of bed. I have my coffee first and sit there and then work on myself. And at night, if I'm not too tired, I will do it before I go to sleep. Sometimes I fall asleep in the middle of it, but that's okay. You probably have noticed that the more you have worked with it, the easier it gets. Instead of taking 3 or 4 breaths to go through your body, by this time, for most of you, I would say maybe 1 or 2 breaths. And you are in training every cell in your body to the energy of life process. So as you are moving the energy through your body, it is awakening every cell to this new flow of energy. Now, the energy of life, if we go back to ancient Egypt, we go back 12, 15, 16,000 years ago. So we actually go on back into Atlantis even. When I first had it come to me, I was thinking in terms of, 6,000, 5,000 years ago. And I've discovered by tuning in that, it goes back farther. For any of you that have listened to Mateos de Stefano, he tells us about Egypt in 12,500 years ago, and it was called Kim, and we were descendants of Atlantis. So I have started tuning into that, looking at the energy of life and how far it goes back. And for any of you that are familiar with the Ankh, it's when you see some of the pictures, let's say, of the Ankh and the Pharaoh, you will see the side view and you see the Ankh in front of the Pharaoh. And the Ankh is the symbol of life. So from the sun or the solar disk in the sky, you see the ray coming down, and at the end of the ray is a little hand, and the Ankh was at the hand to feed the energy of life in the form of the Ankh to the Pharaoh. Now, I have been looking at this another way, because if we can feed the energy of life to the body as we are bringing it through right now, there is no reason that we cannot reverse aging. So if we can repair our cells, and take damaged cells, we get all the toxins and traumas out. And if we repair the damaged cells and repair what they call the telomeres, hair-like things on the cells, that we can get another 10, 15 years of good life. This is an easy way to do it. So everyone should definitely have a good flow of energy now. So let's start by looking at your chakras in the way that I first said. So you're going to want to take some notes probably. So the first thing is compare the size. You can start at your first chakra and just think of it. How big is so what I do is I compare things to fruit. I say, or golf balls or whatever. So it's the size of a golf ball. It's a lemon. It's an orange. It's a grapefruit. It's a cantaloupe or a head of cabbage. It's something that is going to mean something to you size-wise. And we're not going to do anything. We're just going to write down what size it is. And as soon as you have that, go on to the second chakra. And what size is the second chakra, then go on to the third and work your way on up. And as I said, when you get to the top, you may want to, you can think about it both ways, but pick one and say if you're going to come up to the crown, which is the sixth, circle around and come to the forehead, for the third eye for the seventh, that is fine. And then the back of your head, right there at the crease, the back of the head, the neck, that would be your eighth chakra. So just get a sense of the size of each. Now you're using your intuition in the EOL process. So remember, you don't sit there and just overthink it. It's whatever the size is that comes to you, just write it down. All right, are we ready to move on to the spin? Now, with the spin, we're only going to look for, is each chakra spinning optimally? Now, optimally means an exact same number of rotations clockwise and counterclockwise. So if it is, I don't care if it's 6 or 10 or 20, as long as it's 6 in one direction, 6 in the other, 20 in one direction, 20 in the other. So again, starting, you can look at them all simultaneously and just say, oh, my first, my fourth are not, just which ones are not rotating optimally, not balanced as far as their clockwise, counterclockwise spin. Could be 1, 2, 3, 4, however many, doesn't matter. You'll know what you're going to be working with. All right. Hopefully everyone's got that. And now take a look at the color. You can start at the first and again go up. And don't be surprised if you find some that are multicolored and some that are a single color in this moment, because it will be changing. But make note of the color of each chakra. And that way you won't be surprised when they change like they should. All right, if there's anyone that has not finished with the colors, just let me know, because otherwise we're going to move on.
I'm still working on color, almost done.
All right. All right. So while we are going through that, let's think in terms of why are my chakras not operating at optimal spin, optimal color, size? So we have physical injuries, car accidents, falls, surgeries in the area of a chakra, all different things of the physical nature. You know, you get, I just worked on someone the other day that um, was riding a horse and the horse took off through the woods and tree limb caught her right in her third eye. Well, that trauma went all the way back into the brain. I've had someone else that fell out of a bunk bed as a child, and it was kind of odd because she fell out of the top bunk, hit the floor. Family came in, looked at her. She was sound asleep. So they picked her up and they put her back in the bed. Well, all these years later, come to find out, no, she was knocked out. She was unconscious. So, and just luckily, she spearheaded the floor and didn't come down at an angle because she would have probably broken her neck. So they thought she was asleep, put her back in the bed. And all these years later, the trauma was trapped all the way down in her, between her shoulder blades. So that impact on the head, of course, that, you know, right there at your crown chakra. And of course, then come on down through your throat chakra as it went down into the upper back, into the spine. So physical traumas. Now, then, of course, we all know that we have emotional holding patterns, and those will have a direct effect on the chakras as well. So it's how much energy we keep in our brain. We're always frustrated, we're always sad, we're always fearful, anxiety, and that energy just keeps moving. Well, that's definitely going to affect um, your third eye, affect your crown. And a lot of that is because it's hard to get grounded if you have that much stuff going on in your head. And of course, the throat chakra, because we choke down, we swallow our fear, we swallow our anger to keep from blowing up. We choke down our sadness to not be too emotional around others or in public or whatever. And of course, the heart and heart chakra, you know, we again, we suppress our heartfelt feelings. And then we go on down into the solar plex and all of the stuff that we tighten up, and we go into shallow breathing patterns and everything so that we don't, you know, fully express what we're feeling. Second chakra, you know, is about survival. So we lock up our gut. Same thing. Root chakra also, we tighten that sphincter there, and the iliococcygeal, which is the muscle through the pelvic floor. So we have now we have a physical and an emotional possibility in each of the chakras. Um, Now, of course, we will sometimes have chemical shock and things of that nature. So exposure to toxic chemicals out in the world, or something that you're given medically and you have a reaction to, especially. And so we get chemical shock in that way. Of course, there's other ways. And these days we get a lot of EMF. I mean, so I've seen so many people put their phone right in their shirt pocket, or guys put it in their jacket pocket right over their heart, and that's radiating all through the body. A lot of people, of course, in the past would always hold it to their head, and that heat would radiate all the way through the brain. If you're using earbuds that have, a little thing around the neck, and sometimes are held in place by magnets, that energy is affecting your throat chakra and your upper chakras as well. Um, Even the car, if you are driving an electric car, you're in an electromagnetic field constantly. I know back in 2018 when we got a new car, I could not turn the Sirius satellite radio on without my throat closing up in about 10 to 15 minutes. And, you know, so I was at least paying attention that it was all of the electromagnetic energy coming in, and not something else, thinking something else. So it was pretty easy for me to catch. But I had worked with a lot of people with EMF sensitivity up to that point. So it was something I was definitely looking out for. All right. Now, one of the things that is really, really, really hard to wrap your head around sometimes, though, is that there are algorithms coming in from your phone that you can't see. There is energy in the form of, there's deep EMF that goes all the way back into the visual cortex of the brain that actually can cause you to have memory lapse, make it hard if you're to remember simple things. There is satellite frequencies that come in burst, that come through the phone, that again also get stored in the brain. And these things will affect your third eye, affect your crown. And if you're holding the phone a lot down in front of you, the blue light will go directly into your thyroid, and it can affect your thyroid. The blue light also damages the pineal and the pituitary gland and the hippocampus of the brain. These are all things that I end up getting out of people. They feel a huge difference, and they affect our chakras. All right, so let's go back and take a little review now. What did you find when we first went into the chakras? And who'd like to start? All right, need somebody.
Okay, I'll go. I don't know if my chakras are a mess or if I'm just not intuiting these right on. I did go through a pretty stressful weekend. But anyway, like my first chakra, the size seemed okay. It was about the size of a soccer ball. It was like a brownish orangey red. But the spin on it was really slow. It was like 2 to the right and 5 to the left. I thought that was like, I'm like, am I getting that right? Maybe it's going faster and I'm just not seeing it.
Nope, you are correct.
I was? Okay. Awesome. Phew. I
Okay.
went to a funeral, so it was pretty hefty.
Yep.
Or heavy, I should say.
But also, we're not just talking about that. It's like, other things that may have caused that, that go back in time. So,
Oh, true.
All right, thank you. Someone else? All right, we're looking for size, color, rotation. Even if you found some, when I was talking there, if you felt an emotion or something, or trauma in a chakra area. So ideally, you want to just keep the EOL flow going. And since you're already thinking about chakras, it'll already be working there to a degree till we get more focused. Anyone else? What'd you get? Color, shape, rotation.
I kept seeing fruit in my chakras. Like my root chakra was an apple,
Okay,
and then it was an orange, then it was a lemon, then it was a watermelon, then it was a blueberry, then it was a
okay.
grape.
Well, that's what we're looking for, though. It shows a difference in size. It doesn't matter that, you know, what you got as far as the fruit. It's about an indication of size for you. That's perfect.
Yeah, it combined the size and the color.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else?
Yes, I had, the spins were okay. You know, they were all spinning this, you know, the right way, but I had you know, the sizes from like small to larger. Like the third chakra was really large, and so is the seventh, but the sixth wasn't that big today. I don't know. And the colors were mostly like there were some light colors, like the root was pale red. Second one was light orange. Um, I, I got for the fifth, I got multi.
Okay.
So
I mean,
yeah.
normally when we would, think of paler colors, we would think of low energy in that chakra.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, if we think about it, our chakras to be healthy, they should be brilliant and they should be just spinning. And we don't necessarily want to say uniform because in size, because again, it's about what's going on in our bodies that is causing things to not be uniform. What do we have? We have a little stress and things in our throat, or we have something in our solar plex. Well, then they shouldn't be the same size. Okay. And even when we are working on them, the goal is not to get them into same size, but to get them into their optimal size and working condition.
Okay.
All right. Now, let's everyone ask the EOL to show you the order to work on your chakras. So we're not necessarily going to start with the root, but if you get the root is the first one you start with, then by all means do that. So just let the numbers flow in the order that they need to be worked on.
Can I go back and ask a question?
Sure.
The number 8 you said is at the top of the spine?
The number 8 would be like at the very back of the head, back here. Yes.
Right where the spine joins in that little.
Yes. Joins spine, joins the base of the skull, kind of that area.
I got a navy blue color for there. Is that kind of in the normal range, or just any
Okay.
color will do, or?
But remember, don't associate a color to normal or not normal. They change colors.
Okay.
That's just where it is right now.
Okay. So it doesn't really matter.
No.
Okay.
Because when they are spinning optimally, in my mind,
Yeah.
they're going to be changing colors. I mean, they're not going to stay one color for any period of time. They're just not going to happen.
For an optimally functioning body and optimally functioning chakras, what would be a good spin number?
And even that is going to be different person to person.
Okay.
The main thing is a balance.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. So if someone has all of their chakras already mapped out as far as which ones go first and second and so on, please share that and I'd like a couple of people to share that so we get a better understanding that each of you is getting something different because you are different. So your order has to be different. So who would like to share the order that they got?
Okay, I can share my order, Aaron.
All right.
It's Suzanne. Um, I'll just read you the numbers of them.
Yes.
7, 3, 2, 5, 4, 1, 6, and then 8.
Okay. Great. So a lot different than just starting with your first one and working your way up.
Yes.
All right. Someone else, please. You can just do that same way, just kind of go through them.
I can share.
All right.
5, 7, 6, 1, 4, 2, 3.
Okay.
I also have a question about the 8th chakra. Is that 0, like the grounding chakra below the first chakra, or is that the 8th chakra?
Literally the eighth chakra. And then,
Okay.
when we go above the crown, we're at 9. And then
Okay.
10, all the way up to 20. It's
Is
fascinating.
there
Go ahead.
a chakra that's below the first, like a 0 chakra?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's why I say, depending on what you read in different teachings, people will say that there is, and I have never run across that, so I really can't. I'm never going to say never. It may be just something I haven't run across yet.
Okay.
All right. All right. So now we know the order and we see the diversity as far as what we need to do and how each of us. So when we actually sit down and say, oh, I'm just going to take this class, we're going to get all of our chakras in alignment. Well, starting with 1 and going through 7 or 8 doesn't work for everyone. You can make it work because your body will try to do, and your energy system will try to do what you were trying to get it to do. All right. Is everyone ready? First thing, ask the EOL to remove any trauma or shock or toxins or emotional energy from your chakras. Got to get the junk out of the way to get proper alignment. Now, try not to do all of that at once. So if you're doing the physical shock and trauma, get the physical shock and trauma out, then go into toxins, let's say, get toxins out. If you try to do it all at once, a lot of times it's kind of overloads the process. And for any of you that have had a laptop on your lap or always on a computer or cell phone, you can ask the energy of life to remove all man-made frequencies. Now we're going to take this a step further. Some of you, due to car accidents, falls, or whatever, your chakras may be a little bit out of alignment with your body. Ask the energy of life to bring your chakras back into perfect alignment. Sometimes when we have an accident, and especially car accident, something that's pretty traumatic, will actually jar and shift the aura and the fields, the chakras, everything has the potential to get misaligned. So please take note of that. How many of you have chakras that are out of alignment? And as you may remember, because the energy of life has consciousness, it works with your body, with your thoughts and requests. So it's that easy. Just ask the energy of life to align your chakras with your body. And of course, once they are aligned with your body, now would be the time to ask the energy of life to activate your chakras in the appropriate order. So wherever the first one was, whether it was your fifth or the fourth or whatever, you're going to just ask the energy of life to go ahead and get them to activate. So actually in activation, you're meaning spin, put them in the proper spin, proper size. We won't say proper color because we know color is forever changing. For some of you that are visual, you will actually see the color changes as it's happening. Some of you that have really got a good ear can actually hear the frequency of the chakras as they are shifting and changing their spins and colors. Now, at any point, if you have a question, go right ahead. If someone is already like to share something, please do. All right. Need someone speak up. Questions, comments. How far along are you?
Hi, it's Trish.
All right.
So in clearing out spiritual level, I would like to clear out any kind of imprint, that frequency that might attract things like abuse, manipulation, victimizing, humiliation, embarrassment. I got a list. Shame, guilt, or hatred from others.
Mm-hmm.
Should I do those all separately?
Um, those can be done all together just due to you're still talking about stuff from other people that may get stuck.
Mhm. Or
Okay.
that I somehow, if I'm carrying those frequencies, that attracts it to me?
Um, I don't get a sense that you are.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So the main thing is always ask the UL, are you carrying that? Because you can save yourself a lot of time because
Oh,
you can be trying to release something that you don't even need to work on.
yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Good idea.
Good question, though.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Someone else, please. All right, I know we're gonna run out of time and you guys haven't spoken up, so somebody's got to talk here. Can't just sit there and watch me sit here looking pretty.
I was falling asleep.
Well, the
It
energy,
was,
the
I don't
energy,
know.
yes, the energy of life relaxes you and will put you to sleep.
I have a question about when, activate the chakras in their proper order. Do you have to worry about which ones they're doing, or you can just ask the energy of life to just do its thing?
You've already gotten through using the energy of life, the order that they need to be in. So once you ask it, it already knows. It will do
Okay.
them. It will do them in the proper order.
Okay, okay, and then that it can correct the spin and the sizes too, to what
Right.
they should be.
Right. When you are taking them to their optimal functioning, that corrects the size, and all of that is all part of the same thing.
Okay, great, thank you.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Hear you just fine.
Perfect. Um, I it was just a little surprised when I was going through the chakras and I felt my third eye really like magnify the energy in there. And I was, from to my knowledge, I don't, have any like ailments, physical ailments where I was thinking I would feel the magnification is where I have my ailments, which is in my throat chakra. I know they're close together, but I was just wondering if physical symptoms need to be correlated with where you might need that energy to be cleared. I just always imagined blocked energy with physical ailments. So that was just surprising to me. I don't know if you're following me, if I'm explaining it right.
Okay. The best thing here is not to have preconceived notions, because you are trusting in the energy of life to take care of the details for you. Okay.
Yes.
And as you learn to trust that, you will have some surprises like that. Okay. And that's what it's meant to, it's kind of like if you say, oh, energy of life, work on my TMJ,
Mm.
and you feel the energy go to your big toe. Obviously, you must have sprained, jammed, done something to that big toe. God knows when. Trauma pattern comes up the leg through the body and affects your jaw. Now, you don't know that. You're only focused on the jaw. The energy of life is going to go where you need it for what you have just asked.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. I find that a lot. I had a guy that had surgery on his big toe, and 6 weeks later, his jaw was out of alignment. So it does happen.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, it is wrap up time. We always go a few minutes over with questions and things, and I am fine with that. So is there anyone else? Any questions and comments, like what's going on with your chakras or alignment?
Now, I didn't really like when we were first removing from all chakras
Okay.
to the point where I was like in a meditative state. Now, did you then say anything about what to do when you go in the order? Like because we listed the order, but I don't recall
Okay.
what we
It,
do with each
it
one.
was just that once you listed the order, you already have it in your consciousness. The EOL already knows it.
Okay.
So when you say, okay, align them in the proper order, the EOL,
Oh,
the EOL takes over.
gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Where's that easy button? All right, go right ahead. Who's next? Well, if we don't have anyone next, you know what we're going to do then. It's going to be sign off time.
I have one more question.
Sure.
So energy of life, could that also be known as like divine energy, spirit energy, chi, like so many names? Or is
Yes.
this, yeah?
I mean, as it came to me in 94,
Mhm.
relationship to ancient Egypt, that's what the name was that came to me at that time. Now, is it similar to all those other energies? Of course it is. It's a different frequency, it's a different way of working. When we take it in the hands and through the body, we activate every cell in the body, which is something unique about it. As it's going out the feet, it is grounding us, it is opening our crown for, and third eye. So it works a little different in that respect. But it's just, energy is energy.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I put my palms up often, but when I put my palms up when you asked, I could really feel a very like a heavier or more dense frequency. So definitely felt that. Okay, thank you.
Right. You're welcome. Thank you. So another little tidbit about the Ankh. So depending on the church that you have gone to in the past, the religion, whether it is Catholic or Baptist or Methodist or whatever, it doesn't matter. Especially in the Catholic Church, you go up front, you kneel down and you receive the host in your mouth from the priest. Many other churches, they will hand out pieces of cracker or wafer or something. But if you think about it, if you have the Pharaoh and you have a arm coming down with an ankh coming into the mouth of the Pharaoh, where do you think we got that in church from? It was the energy of life, okay? So coming into the Pharaoh. And there are many things like that. I actually met a group of people that were from a church group in Texas that were all there to find the pictures and carvings and things on the wall that were associated with Christianity. That so many things from ancient Egypt and other parts of the world that were adopted into our Christian faiths, no matter what they are. So, it may change names, how it's given is a little different, but it's all the same. We are receiving the energy of life. Many would see we're receiving the body of Christ in the host or the cracker, as we are receiving the blood in the wine or the grape juice. So, another way to say the same thing, but to suit where we are in our faith. So, I always like to keep an open mind. And, when I go back to Egypt this year, I'll be looking again for more of those things that I didn't find the last couple of times. And, on the papyruses or statues carved into the walls of the temples, because there's a lot of good stuff there. All right. It is after the hour, so if there's no one else, I will
Can I
say,
ask, can I ask one last question? I'm sorry I waited until the end to ask all my questions. Would that be okay with you?
of course.
Um, I know we have to trust, but if a symptom is is there. There's something else going on. So, you know, you go inward, and if you're not feeling like you have the answers, like what advice would you give someone? For instance, I was looking for like a, you know, some more information in a specific area, and then I went to a different area, and then it's just and then it just becomes this like, oh, why am I not hearing or feeling or understanding the message in this ailment? And then, you know,
Yeah.
you just get, it feels like you're blocked.
Ask the energy of life to guide you to the cause of the ailment or condition.
Okay.
Now, if it is something physical, you will feel the energy ideally shift to that area. If it's something emotional, and sometimes you just have to ask, you know, energy of life, is this caused by an emotion? And see what you feel, see what comes into your consciousness, and what emotion. Everything is just a question leading to another question until you get there.
Yeah. Okay, I will do that. Thank you. I appreciate it. No more questions, I promise.
I have a quick one. I'm
Sure.
trying to save my tooth in the bottom left of my mouth, and there's a huge gap there. I'm missing 2 teeth in the back of my bottom jaw on the left, and then the one that's there is exposed, and I'm trying to save it and rebuild bone. Do you think the EOL process can perform that miracle? It's
I would-
pretty far along.
Well, you know, I don't know, 6 years ago or more, I had a root canal down here that was going bad. And the dentist said, oh yeah, we'll have to redo that root canal. That was on a Monday. I had a appointment 1 week from then on a Monday to get a 3D x-ray because the pocket of bacteria showed up in the initial x-ray. In 7 days, the very next Monday, when I went in and got that 3D x-ray, that tooth was totally healed, and I have not had a bit of problem from it. Now, back at the start of around 2021, 22 or somewhere along in the 2021 maybe, I had a cracked upper right molar, and hot, cold, all the sensitivity things. When I went in, it was very visible crack. They didn't take any effort to see it. And so I had an emergency visit. I went back in 6 weeks for my cleaning, which was scheduled. And they took a black and white picture of the tooth. Well, they could see white light coming out of the crack because I was using the energy of life on it.
Oh,
I have not needed a crown. That tooth totally mended. Okay. And I always say, if I can do it, you can do it, because it's used the energy of life. Just tell the energy of life what you need. Ask it to send the energy there to heal the tooth. And don't complicate it. Keep it simple.
okay. Thank you.
All right.
Anne-Marie's put her hand up, but I don't know if she meant to.
Just go ahead and speak up, Anne-Marie.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Hey,
I can't hear you, Anne-Marie.
Can you type the question?
so I can't see type on my end. Can you guys see it?
It says she can't get the speakers to work, but of course it's the microphone that we want so that we can hear her.
She's typing it.
Like when I move my cursor over her picture, it doesn't show that she's muted at all. So I don't know why we can't hear her.
She said she was feeling a pulsating in her throat Oh,
Oh,
it wasn't a question. She was feeling a pulsating in her throat.
Okay, so yeah, just that throat chakra. Still trying to, properly adjust, reset, if you will. And for some of you, you will feel things, an hour from now. Everything is not just automatically totally reset. And some of you, it may be even a bit longer. All right, we better wrap up. And I want to thank you for spending your evening with me. And I hope I gave you something new to play with there with the EOL. And hopefully you're going to report back to me next, well, it'll be 2 months, and I'll have something else exciting to share. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Good night,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Good night. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You are welcome.